Back on HQ postgame, where it's been a less than stellar start to the Cam Ward era in Tennessee. Impatience starting to catch up and issues compounding. Ward expressing his frustration postgame.
I mean, if we keeping the buck right now, we ass. So we 0-4. We have this one. We got nothing to lose. We dropped a quarter of our games, and we've yet to do anything. So we have to lock in, especially myself on the offensive line, from the defensive line, from the special teams to all three faces. We have to play together. We have not played together this year yet, and that's just something that we want to preach about it every day. Every day we got to do better, and we're doing that, but it has to show up on Sundays. It hasn't showed up yet, but it got to show up next week.
We all prescribe that honesty is the best policy. Cam Ward expressing it in his own personal way there. What do you make of the comments here postgame by a quarterback that feels like is laying a challenge out in front of his team?
This doesn't bode well if you're Coach Brian Callahan and your prospects of keeping your job.
Yeah.
When your number one pick comes out and says, we preach all this togetherness and being on our P's and Q's and making sure that we're ready for games, but it's not showing on the field. And it wasn't something that he called anybody out specifically. He said, we haven't played together as a team, all three phases. So when your number one pick comes out and says that, again, as a head coach, this doesn't bode well for you and your future prospects of keeping your job throughout the season. Moose, we already saw him give up play calling, right? He didn't even give it up to the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
He gave it up to the quarterback coach and Bo Hardegree, who's done it before. So there was already some head scratching when it came to that. This is your offense, and they scored 0 points today. So again, this doesn't bode well if you're Brian Callahan.
We've talked about this with other young quarterbacks in the NFL, the ability to work through this and still develop and not download some sort of negative traits that you're starting to feel. But when you look at Ward and you look at those statements, I look at a guy that's completely engaged with what is required to win. When he says things about their percentage of the season already gone by, what do you make of the mental of Cam Ward through 4 games? It looks like despite all of these issues, he is still head above water.
And that's why you take him number one overall, because you knew, even though he was probably going to see a lot of ups and downs, ebbs and flow throughout the season, the mental capacity and his mental fortitude was going to be there. That's who he was when he was at Incarnate Word. That's who he was at Washington State. That's who he was at Miami. He always elevates his team. And when things aren't going well, he puts it upon himself to try to elevate everybody. But you heard him say it, Moose, like, we're not doing enough, right? We're not getting it done properly in all three phases. So, again, that's a scary thing to hear from your number one pick when you're the head coach of this team.
It is game 1 of a 3-game road show for the Tennessee Titans, who will go to Arizona and then to Las Vegas. Douzable, got to find a win. All right, a look here at the slow starts of number 1 overall picks since 2019. There was the slight early success of Caleb Williams at 2-2 before they went into the bye, and then it all went off the rails. Bryce Young saw the same start as did Trevor Lawrence. 0-4, not the end of the world, but got to get right.